The biggest mistake that keeps people broke is trying to look rich before they actually build wealth. The fancy car, the designer clothes, the nights out, all of it adds up. Many people spend money to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Millionaires don't do that. They live below their means, so they can invest the difference. When you spend every dollar you earn or worse, more than you earn, you're not just losing money, you're losing opportunity. Every $100 you waste could have been the seed of something that grows. Delayed gratification is what separates the broke from the wealthy. If you stop trying to look successful and focus on actually becoming successful, your finances will transform faster than you think. Most people don't get rich by accident. They know exactly where their money goes. When you don't track your spending, you lose control of your financial life, plain and simple. It's not about restricting yourself, it's about awareness. You can't improve what you don't measure. Millionaires treat their budget like a blueprint for freedom. They know their fixed costs, their goals, and their limits. But many people refuse to budget because they think it's boring or unnecessary. Yet those same people wonder where their money disappears each month. The truth is, a budget doesn't trap you, it frees you. It's the first step from financial chaos to financial clarity. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Most broke people have just one, their job, and that's dangerous. Because when you rely on one paycheck, one boss, or one business, you're one bad month away from disaster. Wealthy people create multiple income streams so they can survive when things go wrong and thrive when things go right. That might mean investing in stocks, real estate, or a side hustle. The point isn't to work more hours, it's to make your money work for you. If you ever want to escape living paycheck to paycheck, start building additional income sources today. You don't need 7, start with 2. Then grow from there. One of the biggest regrets people have later in life is not starting to invest sooner. They underestimate the power of compound growth, how small investments grow over time. Many people think they'll start investing once they make more money, but that day rarely comes. The wealthy know that time is the real secret to building wealth, not timing. Even small amounts, $10, $20 a week, invested consistently can grow into something massive over the years. The earlier you start, the less you'll have to invest later. Don't wait until you're comfortable. Invest until you become comfortable. Your environment shapes your financial reality. If you surround yourself with people who waste money, complain about money, and fear success, you'll start to mirror them. Millionaires are intentional about who they spend time with. They seek out people who push them, inspire them, and challenge them to grow. Broke people hang around others who justify bad decisions. The truth is, it's almost impossible to level up when everyone around you is pulling you down. If you want to change your financial future, sometimes you have to change your circle first. You don't need to cut everyone off, just spend more time around those who make you better. Staying broke often comes from fear. Fear of losing money, fear of failing, fear of looking stupid. But that fear keeps you trapped in the same cycle. Millionaires understand that calculated risk is part of the game. They don't gamble blindly, but they also don't let fear paralyze them. The key word is calculated. They study, plan, and then move. The broke mindset says, "What if I lose?" The wealthy mindset says, "What if I learn?" Every major step forward in life comes with some risk: starting a business, buying assets, changing careers. You can't play it safe forever and expect a different result. The last mistake, and maybe the most damaging, is thinking short-term. Many people chase instant results. The next big crypto, the quick flip, the easy money. But that mindset guarantees failure. Real wealth takes time. Millionaires think in decades, not days. They build slowly, compound steadily, and stay patient while everyone else chases shortcuts. If you can learn to delay gratification and make decisions your future self will thank you for, you'll already be miles ahead of the crowd. Short-term thinking keeps you broke. Long-term focus makes you unstoppable. The psychology and patterns behind perpetual financial struggle represent the deeply ingrained mental frameworks, behavioral habits, and emotional responses that trap individuals in cycles of poverty and financial instability. This concept encompasses the unconscious beliefs about money, the automatic decision-making processes, and the repetitive behaviors that consistently undermine financial progress, often without the person even realizing they're sabotaging their own success. Understanding these psychological underpinnings is crucial because financial problems are rarely just about math or lack of income. Research consistently shows that people across all income levels can find themselves broke, while others with modest earnings build substantial wealth. The difference lies not in the numbers, but in the mindset and behavioral patterns that drive financial decisions. These mental patterns operate like invisible software running in the background, influencing every financial choice from daily spending to long-term planning. Consider someone who grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. These early messages create subconscious beliefs that can manifest as self-sabotage when opportunities for financial growth arise. For instance, they might unconsciously overspend whenever their savings account reaches a certain threshold, or they might avoid pursuing higher-paying opportunities because they don't feel worthy of wealth. Another example is the pattern of emotional spending, where individuals consistently use purchases to cope with stress, loneliness, or anxiety, creating a cycle where financial stress leads to more spending, which creates more financial stress. Behavioral economists like Dan Ariely and psychologists studying financial behavior support the idea that human financial decisions are largely irrational and driven by cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and social conditioning. The field of financial therapy has emerged specifically to address these psychological aspects of money management, recognizing that lasting financial change requires addressing both the behavioral and emotional components. However, some critics argue that focusing too heavily on psychology can minimize the very real structural barriers that keep people in poverty, such as systemic inequality, lack of access to opportunities, or economic circumstances beyond individual control. They contend that while mindset matters, it's not always sufficient to overcome significant external obstacles. These psychological patterns directly influence every aspect of the 7 mistakes that keep people broke forever. Each mistake stems from specific mental frameworks, whether it's the inability to delay gratification, the tendency to avoid financial planning due to anxiety, or the unconscious beliefs that prevent wealth-building behaviors. Understanding these underlying patterns is essential because addressing only the surface-level financial behaviors without tackling the root psychological causes typically leads to temporary changes that eventually revert to old patterns. Living beyond your means refers to consistently spending more money than you earn, while lifestyle inflation occurs when your spending automatically increases alongside any rise in income. This creates a dangerous cycle where people remain financially stagnant regardless of their earning potential, essentially trapping themselves in perpetual financial struggle. This concept represents one of the most critical barriers to wealth building because it prevents the accumulation of savings and investments that compound over time. When every dollar earned is immediately spent, there's no foundation for financial growth, emergency preparedness, or long-term security. Many people mistakenly believe that earning more money will solve their financial problems, but without controlling lifestyle inflation, increased income simply enables higher levels of spending rather than improved financial health. Consider Sarah, a marketing professional who earned $45,000 annually and struggled to save money while living in a modest apartment and driving an older car. When she received a promotion boosting her salary to $65,000, instead of maintaining her previous lifestyle and banking the difference, she immediately upgraded to a luxury apartment, financed a new BMW, and began dining at expensive restaurants regularly. Despite earning significantly more, she found herself with even less disposable income than before. Similarly, many lottery winners and professional athletes who earn millions end up bankrupt within years because their spending grows faster than their income. Financial experts like Dave Ramsey and Suze Orman consistently emphasize that wealth building depends more on the gap between income and expenses than on absolute income levels. They argue that disciplined spending habits matter more than high earnings for achieving financial independence. However, some argue that strategic lifestyle inflation can be justified, particularly when investments in health, education, or networking yield long-term returns. Critics also point out that extreme frugality can negatively impact quality of life, and that some spending increases reflect legitimate needs as people age or their circumstances change. This mistake directly connects to other wealth-destroying behaviors by creating a foundation for poor financial decision-making. When people live paycheck to paycheck due to lifestyle inflation, they're more likely to accumulate debt, skip investing, neglect emergency funds, and make impulsive financial choices. The psychological pressure of maintaining an inflated lifestyle often leads to rationalization of other financial mistakes, creating a comprehensive pattern of wealth-destroying behavior that becomes increasingly difficult to break over time.